Big game in the desert this Sunday night when the 3-3 Cardinals host the 4-1 Seahawks. Is this game a must-win for the Cards? Max Kellerman.
Of course, and I don't think they will win it. And this is why a lot of people, including our very own Molly.
I know.
But like many people did like the Cardinals at various points in the offseason.
I picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
A lot of people, they may have even been the overall favorite to win the Super Bowl this year, according to many lights. I just didn't like what I saw from Carson Palmer in the playoffs last year, and I just prefer Seattle to Arizona in that division and just period. If you look at it's absolutely a must-win for Arizona. I just don't think they're less than the sum of their parts, and Russell Wilson has become a kind of next-level Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, from just a really good quarterback to a really great one. You look at what the Seahawks have done against Arizona. They've won 3 straight road games against them, but Stephen A., they've scored at least 34 points in each game, each road game of the last 3 against them, and have beaten or have outscored the Cardinals, have beaten them by an average of 23.7 points a game. Not only do I think it's a must-win for the Cardinals, but Seattle's going to win. I don't think it'll be particularly close.
I disagree. I'm going to pick Arizona to win this game. I do find it to be a must-win situation for them. At the beginning of the season, I thought these teams would split in their 2 meetings just like they split last year. Carson Palmer played lights out in a win, played very anemic in a loss. Both teams start out strong and they, against one another, and that's why they won their respective games that they won against each other last year. I think this is one of those situations. I'm watching the Tyrann Mathieu matchup against Jimmy Graham because Jimmy Graham seems to finally be living up to expectation. I think the Cardinals' defense is good enough to apply some pressure. There's always the Patrick Peterson factor against going up against Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman against Fitzgerald is going to be good, but Michael Floyd has to step up and get some things done. I just think Johnson at the running back spot can do some things because I think he's a playmaker out of the backfield as a dual threat. We talked about Le'Veon Bell, but he may be second in terms of being a dual threat out of the backfield. Of course, everything comes down to Carson Palmer, and neither one of us have a lot of confidence in Carson Palmer in the grand scheme of things at the end of the day. But from a regular season perspective, do I believe he's more than capable of stepping up in a regular season game, particularly one so pivotal where if you lose this game, Seattle's going to have a full 2-game lead ahead of you in the win column? I think that Carson Palmer is more than capable of stepping up. I think Derek Johnson is capable of helping. I think Bruce Arians can be innovative enough on the offensive side of the ball, and I think defensively they have the capability to neutralize Seattle offensively. I'm going to pick the Arizona Cardinals to win a tight game here.
David Johnson.
David Johnson.
Everyone was predicting he was going to have this breakout season, and then early on and then he is a beast. I mean, the guy is a monster, no doubt about it. But as I've been saying, Seattle is actually the New England of the NFC. They are different from everybody else in that division. Pete Carroll's and Russell Wilson's Seattle Seahawks are the Patriots of the NFC. Every single year, they're going to be in the playoff mix. They're going to get to the divisional round. Like, at least they're going to advance in the playoffs. And these are the kind of games where I think they separate themselves, where it is the Cardinals' year, it's not the Cardinals' year. Maybe they'll win 8 or 9 or 10 games. Maybe they won't. But you know who's going to be good every year and rack up these kind of wins every year and be in the mix for the Super Bowl every year out of the NFC? The Seahawks, and I like them tonight.
We ain't talking about
Sunday night.
We ain't talking about every year. We're talking about this Sunday.
Yeah,
I think
that's why they win these games.
It's going to be the game of the week. Prime time, baby. Can't wait. Coming up, we asked you guys to weigh in on Twitter. Should the Cowboys trade Mr. Romo? We'll reveal those results after the break and see more of your take clips. My highlight of the show. Back in a few.
Jack has always been one of my heroes. I looked up to him. I looked at his record.
Have you lusted for his record?
I wouldn't say lusted for his record, but I just think that was the gold standard because, he had won the most majors and the second most tour events. And here he is at 18.
And you're at 14.
I'm 14, correct.
And you believe you'll have more than 18.
Correct.
And if you don't, you will say?
I didn't get there.
Tiger Woods, he's still confident he will catch Jack Nicklaus's 18 majors, but he's been stuck on 14 major championships since winning the U.S. Open in 2008. Woods hasn't played in a tournament in more than 14 months after having 2 back procedures, and he pulled out of last week's Safeway Open after saying his game was vulnerable and not where it needs to be. Stephen A., will Tiger ever win another major?
No, I think it's over. I don't believe it, but I want to emphasize that I will never be more happy to be wrong than if Tiger Woods comes back and he wins a major. I want him to win 5. I want him to surpass Jack Nicklaus' record of 18 all time. I don't even think he'll get to 15. I think it's over for him. I think he's psychologically warped. I think he's physically damaged. And I just think that age, attrition, both mentally and physically have kicked in, and that he'll never be what he was. You could still win a major by never being what you were if others plummeted. But the Rory McIlroys of the year, of the day, and others, I don't see that happening. The Jason Days of the world and others, Phil Mickelson, even though the age-old veteran, I don't see all of them collapsing and Tiger Woods being able to take advantage of it. I just think that he's psychologically warped. I don't think it's just as much about the physical as everybody wants to make it out to be. Certainly training to be a Navy SEALs and, being in peak physical condition and working himself to death physically may have factored into the equation. That's why he's got the back surgeries, had the knee issues, and beyond. We get all of that. Do I think he can physically overcome stuff? Yes. I think emotionally, mentally, the psychological damage he did to himself by allowing himself to be exposed as the phony he came across as being is something he'll never recover from. Because when you spend your life, your adult life, living a lie because you wanted to project yourself as being somebody that you weren't for the services of other people, and ultimately you get exposed, you walk around forever devoid of that oomph, that it factor that you walked around doing. Max, I'll take it to a certain level here. In this business, there are people who care. When you're in a hot seat, they care about stuff. And I'm not speaking negatively or positively about anybody. I'm just saying that there are people who go through that. They just care. And then there are those like me who do not. When I aspired to be a general sports columnist, to opine and editorialize and give my opinion, I literally was raised in this business, watching the Sam Donaldsons of the world, to the Ted Koppels of the world, and the list goes on, and then the Brian Gumpels and the Howard Cosell's of the world, and people like that. You trained for this. Tiger Woods walked around with that naturally. He did not give 2 cents about what he was thought of when it came to competing. He only cared about his image off the playing field. And then when that was exposed and it was compromised, everything fell apart. I don't think he recovers from that.
First,
I just don't.
He's not going to tie or break Nicklaus's record of 18. And by the way, at some point it has to be said that back when he was in his prime, or people thought maybe not even in his prime yet, there was the assumption, I think, by the majority that he was going to be the greatest who ever lived. But more conservative observers of golf, who know a lot more about golf than me, were saying, pump the brakes a little bit. And people like me, oh, come on, Tiger's going to be the best ever. And it turns out that they were right, that he will not catch Nicklaus. Nicklaus is, in fact, the greatest golfer of all time, and Tiger will go down in history as the 2nd greatest golfer so far of all time. I think that needs to be said. But will he win? And by the way, here's an irony of the situation Tiger Woods finds himself in. He's going to be a victim of the Tiger Woods effect, because today, although golf is the least athletic sport, if you consider it a sport and not a game, it is sporting, certainly. Of all the kind of sports that people pay attention to, golf requires the least athleticism. But because of Tiger Woods and the way he popularized the game and how famously he was in such great shape for a golfer, a lot of athletes put golf clubs in their kids' hands at a young age instead of footballs or baseballs or basketballs.
Nope.
Here's a golf club. And so now those kids have come of age, and you have McIlroy and Spieth and better athletes now at younger ages playing golf. And now Tiger has to compete against them. And I think he largely created that climate.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
I need you to answer this for me. Jordan, Spieth and McIlroy and those boys, I get that point. But here's what I want you to answer for me. I believe Tiger Woods is image conscious. I think that when you want mass appeal, particularly in this country and globally, a vast majority of American citizens are white. There are folks everywhere, obviously, who are white. To make big money, the kind of money that Tiger Woods has made throughout his career, there's a level of acceptance, of the ability to ingratiate yourself with that audience that you have to capture. I think Tiger had it. I think as a result, it made him even more image conscious. And when everything fell apart, I believe he walks around not even comfortable in his own skin, and I believe it has compromised his game.
I agree with that.
See that? You say what?
I agree with that, and I think he needs to get back to being whoever he is. If that's modest, if that's a braggart, if that's a freak, if that's a straight down the line guy, he has to be that guy, and then he'll get back to the best version of himself. I just want to quickly say, I do think he will win another major before he's done. At least one more. Because Nicklaus was in his mid-40s when he came from behind, shot a 30 on the back nine to come from behind to win the Masters. The point is, in golf, one good day, and you can beat the field. And I think Tiger has at least some good days left in him.
One. Mentally. They didn't have those problems. He has.
We shall see. We got to leave it there, gentlemen. More First Take after the break. Stay with us, won't you? You know what it is. It's the First Take, Your Take viewer contest, and you could win a chance to debate Stephen A. and Max right here on national television in my home state of lovely Connecticut. All you have to do is go to firsttakeyourtake.com, then upload a 1-minute video with your best original sports debate. Keep it clean, no music, team logos, trademarks, copyright material. 2 winners will be selected by our show staff. Come to ESPN headquarters in school, Max and Stephen A., and I can't wait for all of it. Here's a few of our latest submissions.
What happened against Miami? 1-4 team beats the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that has the best wide receiver, lost to a 1-4 team?
Stephen A., I'm sorry, but on the aspirations of your Steelers winning the Super Bowl, they're done. They are an accident waiting to happen. When the Steelers, they start getting everything moving, they start rolling good, what happens? Big Ben gets injured.
The Steelers will be fine. There's no need to panic. You have Landry Jones. This is what you drafted him for. He's not the franchise quarterback. He's serviceable. As long as the coaches simplify the game plan, Landry Jones will be fine by the time Big Ben comes back.
Oh.
All right, hold on.
He shut it down.
He hit you right in the face.
Hold on. That last brother right there, what the hell he think he doing trying to look like Odell Beckham Jr.? All right, the hairdo, that ain't working. That ain't working. That ain't working.
No
number
one was
one.
paying
And
attention to
number
that. They all heard the Steelers are an accident
waiting to happen.
I'm not worried about that. Number 2, where are the ladies? I saw no ladies in any of those videos from the day. Where are the ladies?
Ladies, we want to hear from you. Way to gloss over the Steelers thing. Real quick.
He's been sending in some good videos.
Yes, we need more of them. We asked you guys to should the Cowboys trade Romo. 68% said yes. 37% said no. Muy interesante.
Makes no sense. There's not going to be a market for him in spite of what people think, and that's the answer of the Cowboys. He's a backup quarterback.
I'll leave you with this. The Steelers.
Man, don't end the Friday
accident
complaining.
waiting
Enjoy
to
the weekend. Smile at the audience,
They're a
man.
popular team.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.